This is the Redux News. Hey guys, you may be asking what is going on in Hong Kong? What sparked this uprising? Well, stick around and you will get all of the details. Now, the protests began over plans that would have allowed extradition from Hong Kong to mainland China, but they've now spread to reflect a wider demand for democratic reform. But to understand this, you need to have a clear picture on why Hong Kong stands out from the rest of China. Now, it used to be a British colony for more than 150 years. The first piece that the British received was Hong Kong Island, which was ceded to the UK after the war in 1842. Later, China leased the rest of Hong Kong to the British for 99 years. Then in the 1950s, its economy took off and it became a manufacturing hub. Now, this territory was also popular with migrants and dissidents fleeing instability, poverty, or persecution in mainland China. In the early 1980s, as the 99-year deadline was approaching, Britain and China began talks on the future of Hong Kong, as China continued to argue that it should be returned to Chinese rule. The two sides reached a deal in 1984 that would see Hong Kong return to China in 1997 under the principle of one country, two systems. Now, one country, two systems is that while becoming part of one country with China, Hong Kong would enjoy a high degree of autonomy, except in foreign and defense affairs, for 50 years. Now, Hong Kong has its own legal system, borders, and rights, which include freedom of assembly and free speech, which are protected. But now in 28 years' time, in 2047, the basic laws will expire, and what happens to Hong Kong's autonomy after that is unclear. Getting back to the topic at hand about the protest in Hong Kong, hundreds of members of the People's Armed Police were photographed at a Shenzhen soccer stadium where parking lots were filled with more than 100 dark-painted paramilitary vehicles, raising concerns that China might intervene to end 10 weeks of unrest across the harbor. Now, inside of the stadium, soldiers were seen conducting drills. This stadium is just across a bridge that is one of the main access roads between the mainland and Hong Kong. Also, the U.S. State Department said it was deeply concerned over reports that the Chinese police forces were gathering near the border of Hong Kong and urged the city's government to respect freedom of speech. The department also issued a travel advisory urging U.S. citizens to exercise caution when visiting Hong Kong. A total of 29 countries have issued travel safety alerts for Hong Kong, while international credit rating agencies have also expressed concern about the situation in the territory. Now, this will be the 11th week of continued protest. As of yet, the Chinese government has not stepped in. Thank you for watching. This is the Redux News. Don't forget to like and subscribe.